Hi, I'm Frank from the Watchdog team, and today we're talking about another project that set off all the warning lights for our investigators. Its name is Strategic Advisers, the site is strategicadvisers.org, and on the surface it presents itself as a full-featured broker. Custom platforms, one-click trading, mobile and web access, lavish account tiers and promises of mentoring and direct dealing desks. But when we peeled back the marketing, what we found didn't look like a mature financial firm. It looked like a classic set of red flags that every cautious investor should recognize. From the first click, the impression is glossy and rehearsed, and the site is clean, the visuals are modern, and the copy is designed to soothe doubt and encourage a quick sign-up. Yet slick design is not a substitute for transparency. The domain itself is extremely new, registered in June of 2025, and Warwi's records show anonymous registration. There's no long track record, no legacy of audited reports, no independent coverage that confirms the story the site tells. A broker that claims to operate at scale normally has a visible footprint: registrations, press mentions, verifiable office details, and regulatory disclosures. Strategic Advisers gives you an address and a phone number, but the trail goes cold the moment you try to prove who actually stands behind the brand. Digging into the team and the company narrative only deepens the unease. The site links to credentials that belong to other entities, and there is a conspicuous lack of verifiable leadership biographies. The name and persona used to add gravitas to the brand are not supported by public professional histories or corporate filings you can independently confirm. Worse, traffic analysis suggests almost no organic engagement with the domain. In short, the online presence exists mainly as a brochure, not as a living, operating financial service. When a platform tries to borrow the trappings of legitimacy without the underlying records, you're left asking who benefits while clients are being asked to fund accounts. The product offering is dressed up in industry jargon, multiple account tiers, premium mentoring, direct dealing desks, exclusive sessions, and automated tools. Promises like these are persuasive to newcomers, but when the promises lack concrete mechanics, no clear explanation of how the dealing desk routes orders, no independent proof of past performance, no audited statements about client asset custody, they become marketing fluff. We saw account tiers that reward larger deposits with additional privileges, which is fine when the provider is regulated and accountable. It becomes dangerous when those privileges are essentially access to the same opaque system with little to no legal protection for investors. Platform transparency is central to trust. Real brokers show which trading engines they use, who provides liquidity, how orders are executed, and where client funds are held. Strategic Advisers shows charts and market screens, but those visuals appear to be pulled from public data feeds, rather than demonstrating genuine, trackable order execution. The personal account dashboards, according to feedback we reviewed, show transactions inconsistently and sometimes fail to reflect deposited funds accurately. That pattern, believable small wins, followed by opaque accounting when you try to withdraw meaningful sums, is the mechanism by which many bad actors operate. They pay out modest withdrawals to build trust, then introduce delays, new verification hoops, and ad hoc fees when the client tries to access larger balances. The deposit and withdrawal experience is where the abstract risk turns concrete. The site lists a range of deposit options, but provides little real information about limits, processing times, or contractual fees. People who reported problems to us described a familiar sequence: an easy deposit, early encouragement from an account manager, simulated gains on the platform, and then sudden friction when requesting withdrawals. That friction takes the form of repeated document requests, sudden demand for swift confirmations that disclose full bank routing details, and unexpected activation or compliance fees. Some of those demands are simply invasive. Others create real financial pressure on the client, because paying them is presented as the only way to unlock the money that rightfully belongs to the investor. Beyond money, there is a data risk, and the site's initial registration is intentionally light to remove blockers to sign up and only later, at the point of withdrawal or verification, does the platform request extensive sensitive documents, providing full bank routing details, copies of identification, and SWIFT confirmations to an unverified operator transports a great deal of trust and private data, into an entity that may never be held to account. That is a vulnerability that can lead to identity theft, fraudulent transfers, and long, costly disputes that often end in dead ends. We also examined the human side of the experience. Testimonials and forum posts paint a consistent picture. Polite outreach that quickly becomes pressure to increase deposits, a handful of small permitted withdrawals that build confidence, then a series of escalating barriers designed to extract more money or stall the client until the platform can vanish. These anecdotal reports are not proof on their own, but repeated and similar complaints across independent channels are a pattern you cannot ignore. They tell a cautionary tale about how social engineering and manufactured urgency are used to manipulate trust. Regulatory safeguards are the anchor of legitimate financial services. Licensed brokers publish their regulator registration numbers and the legal entity responsible for the service. They place client funds in segregated accounts and submit to complaint mechanisms. Strategic Advisers does not provide the transparent regulatory documentation one would expect, and attempting to reconcile the provided business identifiers with public registries produces inconsistencies. That lack of verifiable oversight means that, if things go wrong, clients have little recourse. Without an accountable regulator or a clear legal entity to pursue, any dispute quickly becomes a cross-border mess that is expensive and often fruitless to resolve. So what should a careful person do when encountering a platform like this? First, treat promotional claims as just that, claims and output, until you can verify them independently. Ask for a regulator's registration number and check it directly on the regulator's website. Demand to know where client funds are kept and under what legal protections. Ask for audited proof of custody and actual liquidity partners. If those answers are not forthcoming or are evasive, consider the default position. Do not invest. If you already have funds on the platform, document everything. Keep copies of chats, emails, transaction receipts, and screenshots. Contact your bank or card provider as soon as possible to explore chargeback or reversal options, and report suspicions to local law enforcement and relevant financial authorities. Early action can sometimes make the difference between recovery and permanent loss. Emotionally, it's useful to remember how these stories play out. The initial excitement of a promising new service can cloud judgment. A friendly voice on the phone, a short-term gain on the screen, a glossy webinar. These are designed to lower resistance. Pause, breathe, verify. Put the same effort into checking credentials as you would into choosing a major purchase. Real financial institutions welcome scrutiny because they have nothing to hide. Those that avoid verification, hide records, or pressure you to act fast are usually selling something you will later regret buying. Strategic Advisers presents an alluring image, convenience, mentorship, premium features, but the supporting evidence is weak and the risks for clients are substantial. We are not judges, and our review is not a legal ruling, but based on the patterns we've documented: new domain, anonymous registration, unverifiable team, opaque execution, and withdrawal friction. This is a platform that should be approached with very high caution. Protect your capital, insist on paperwork, and if a service refuses to provide clear, verifiable answers, protect yourself by walking away. Lost money with a broker, find out how to get it back. Contact us at watchdogonline, proton.me, and leave your name and phone number so we can get back to you. The Watchdog Online team stands guard over your safety. Together we will make the internet better.